such a diverse experience with us, one that many of us wouldn't otherwise get a first-hand account of. So we're going to keep going, and at this time we're going to welcome Tina Meyer to the stage, who's going to share an experience with us about an epic trip that she took. Please give a hand for Tina.
So what does an 8,000-pound prairie dog, a 16-passenger van, and a butcher knife have in common? Well, me one summer. My husband and I married in 2000, and we put together a step family of 6 kids, 4 boys and 2 girls. People often said, "Oh, you're the Brady Bunch," and I'd say, "Oh, no. The youngest boy will not wear a skirt, and he does not want to be called Cindy." In 2003, we decided to take the kids on a cross-country trip to Estes Park, Colorado, and then on to Jackson Hole, Wyoming. We rented a 16-passenger van, and we got the kids situated in the places that they wanted to be. We had electronics for them and things to keep them occupied along the way. We were midway through Kansas when it all started. "Mom, he's touching me. Dad, I gotta go to the bathroom. Mom, Dad." I looked at my husband and I said, "I think this is going to be a long trip." And then suddenly it appeared at an exit. "Come see the 8,000-pound prairie dog and the 6-legged cow." I said, "Let's go." Now, my oldest son is 17, and he was going off to college in the fall. My husband's twin boys were 15 and a half. My husband's daughter was 13, my daughter was 13, and our little Cindy, not Cindy, was 11 years old. They have this thing about them that when they go someplace new, they would organize a game of tag, and it was a way for them to settle in. So going past the jackalopes, the Russian wild boars, the 6-legged cow, they played a game of tag. And they ran that stuffing out of themselves, and we got back in the van, but not before everybody got a picture in front of that 8,000-pound prairie dog, which actually I think was a grain silo that somebody had painted. We went on to Estes Park, Colorado for about a week, and my husband and I had honeymooned there, and we thought that our kids would love to do everything that we did. So we decided to hike to Emerald Lake, which you start at 8,000 feet and you go up to 11,000 feet. The ascent is 2 hours. We're an hour into it. The air's getting thin and the tensions are rising. I have to go to the bathroom. There's a rock over there. When are we going to get there? Keep moving. We're going. And it went on and on and on, and finally we pulled the kids over off of the trail and we had a little family meeting, and we had learned how to do these family meetings before we got married. And so we listened to their concerns, and then we coerced them. We actually convinced them that it would be a good idea to follow the trip and go up and see the Continental Divide. So we made it up to the top. We had our lunch. The kids had a little Bambi moment when the squirrels came and ate out of their hands, and we went back to our place that we were staying. It was a good week. My husband and I thought that we were really doing this thing of putting our family together and making a good success of it. The distance between Estes Park, Colorado and Jackson Hole, Wyoming is about a day's drive. And as the day wore on, the van got smaller and smaller. We drove up to this vacation rental place that I had booked online, and I looked at my husband and I said, "I don't know about this place. I don't see where there's any room for a hot tub or gourmet kitchen." And so we looked at the kids and we said, stay in the van and we're going to go check it out. And as we walked on up and he unlocked the door, I said, you know, we actually may have to get a Best Western. I don't know that this is going to work. But we opened up the door and our fears were allayed. We had the kids come in and they organized a game of tag, passed the baby grand piano, passed the hot tub, and they settled themselves in. So it was a week in Jackson Hole where we did some horseback riding and falling off of horses and going to the wax museum. But the most memorable trip was whitewater rafting on the Snake River. We got suited up in our wetsuits and we got out there and got into the raft with another family, and the family that we were with were from Minnesota, and they were named, they were Vikings, we think. Their names were Togar and Dakar and Trog. And my kids thought that they were in some sort of video game, I think, as we shot the rapids with these Vikings and we're going along. We got back to shore, and it was a wonderful trip. And I looked at my husband and I said, I think you and I deserve a date night. So we bought frozen pizza for the kids, settled them into the house, and we said goodbye because we had a reservation at the $1 Million Cowboy Bar. So we slung back whiskey sitting on bar stools that were fashioned like saddles, and then we dined on elk chops and patted ourselves on the back for such a great job. And then we went home. The house was quiet. I went into the kitchen. Pizza boxes everywhere, half-eaten pieces of pizza, and at the other end of this long counter in this gourmet kitchen was a butcher knife with something red on it. I didn't go to check it out. The first thing I did was to call my oldest son, something between, it's time for dinner and you better get your butt up here. And he came in, and one of John's twins, who was also in charge, came in too. And I started the rat-a-tat-tat of questioning, trying to find out what exactly was going on. They didn't talk. My husband put his hand on my shoulder and he said, let it go. And I did. Years later, I found out what the fight was about. It was whether to cut the pizzas in squares or triangles. And we packed our things up, headed back through Nebraska, through the I-states, and into Cincinnati, where all 6 of the kids broke out in a song that they had composed somewhere between Estes Park, Colorado and Jackson Hole, Wyoming. And it was a cappella, 3 or 4 part harmony, and in rounds. And it was called Bus Driver Man, and it was fashioned after my husband's expertise at driving that 16-passenger van. What I learned from that trip is this: we're no Brady Bunch, but our family really has a great harmony all its own. Thank you.